Look no further for your weekly dose of Dashcam adrenaline. Join us for another action-packed episode featuring 20 exclusive and unbelievable moments sent in by our fans. Ricky was headed to work when she was passed by a reckless Acura driver. Her gut reaction was to slow down, but she had no idea in that moment how bad things were about to get. Ricky is thankful she'd slowed down below the speed limit by the time the Acura spun out and she struck it head-on. Incredibly, nobody was hurt in the collision. The Acura, on the other hand, was totaled. Ricky's Chevy sedan was also lightly damaged by the impact. She told us the Acura driver tried to convince her to let him repair her car himself. But after a week of radio silence, she contacted his insurance provider. You might not be surprised to find out that the Acura driver never reported the collision to his insurance provider, and he even tried to deny that the wreck had happened at all. Thankfully for Ricky, her dashcam doesn't lie. Patrick and his wife were headed back to Canada when he noticed traffic ahead of them slowing down to a crawl. As he started slowing down, he noticed a white pickup truck in the passing lane go speeding past them. No doubt Patrick and his wife were startled to watch the unaware pickup driver plow into the back of traffic, shoving a hatchback into the median and rear-ending an SUV as well. Patrick said it didn't seem like the pickup driver even tried to slow down. They pulled over and called 911, informing the Tennessee Highway Patrol they had dashcam footage of the wreck. Later, they sent the THP their video via email. Patrick told us he wishes people would be more careful when driving and pay attention. He also thinks front and rear dashcams should be mandatory safety features in all new vehicles. While waiting behind a Ram pickup truck at a traffic light, SAC tells us the pickup driver began revving their engine. As soon as the light turned green, the driver peeled out, but SAC wasn't the only one who heard his tires squealing. Gotta love that instant justice. A police officer also saw the pickup blasting off and pulled the driver over for a little talk about safe driving. John was driving his Jeep Wrangler on a typically rainy day in the Pacific Northwest. As he approached a four-way stop, he watched a white Toyota Camry speed through the stop sign on his left before T-boning an oncoming minivan. John told us this is unfortunately a common occurrence. He stopped to check on the drivers before calling 911. When the police arrived, he provided his dashcam footage to the responding officers as well as to the driver of the minivan. John told us he owns a dashcam because of the Wham Bam channels. Awesome! If you need a dashcam for your vehicle, you'll find links to our recommendations in the video description as well as coupon codes just for our fans. This submitter was taking her son to visit her mother one morning when she spotted a pickup truck illegally cross into the express lane. Something she told us happens a lot. This morning, however, was different. A California Highway Patrol officer was right behind our submitter, and he also spotted the express lane violator. He immediately turned on his party lights and sped off after the offender to administer some more instant justice. She told us her family loves watching our episodes, especially the instant justice videos, which is great because we've got more coming up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future episodes. Logan spotted a driver helpfully making a gap for another driver and nearly causing a collision as a result. When are people going to stop doing this? Remember, leaving a gap for another driver when you have the right-of-way isn't courteous, it's dangerous. I think it's time for us to start raising awareness of this well-intentioned bad habit. Why don't we start using the hashtag #CloseTheGap on social media? Let's see if we can inspire some people to abandon this driving behavior that only endangers the very drivers they're trying to help. Alec was driving down a New York highway when he was passed by a speeding Toyota Camry with license plates from
Jersey, of course.
About a minute after the Camry went speeding off, weaving between vehicles, Alec noticed traffic was slowing down. Needless to say, Alec wasn't surprised when he discovered the reason for the traffic buildup.
Call 911.
Calling emergency services.
Alec immediately pulled over and called 911. Thinking quickly, he used a screwdriver to break the overturned Camry's window so the driver could escape. Thankfully, his injuries were minor and he refused medical treatment at the scene. When police arrived, Alec showed officers his dashcam footage. He told us they promptly cited the driver for multiple infractions, including reckless driving. Roberto was driving his Ford Explorer down an Arizona highway when a white Chrysler ahead of him ran over a piece of wood, launching it directly at him.
No way that just happened.
After the initial shock wore off, Roberto pulled over to check his Explorer for damage. He told us a small portion of the windshield was smashed and that the debris had left 2 streaks in his field of view. He ended up paying a $500 insurance deductible to replace the windshield. Ouch! Jaden was waiting at a traffic light, and as it turned green, he proceeded across the intersection in his Ford Focus. Little did he know, the driver of a Nissan sedan from the left was about to run their red light right in front of him.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hey, hold on.
A pickup on Jaden's left blocked his view of the Nissan, and even though he slammed on the brakes as soon as he saw it, the Nissan still collided with the front bumper cover of his Ford Focus. Neither Jaden nor his passengers were happy with the situation, but thankfully nobody was injured. Jaden stopped to check for damage while the Nissan driver sped off, but the impact had been minor. By the way, Jaden also told us he bought one of the dashcams we recommend and he loves it. Thanks, Jaden. Mach 1 watched the driver of a semi-truck pulling 2 trailers almost take a tumble when he took a turn a little too fast. Mach 1 told us this intersection is notorious for truckers flipping their trailers as the intersection isn't quite level and is bumpy at certain points. According to him, the local natural gas company hires lots of rookie drivers. Shemare was driving her Lexus ES350 down a Texas highway when she watched the driver of a Ford pickup truck rear-end an SUV before stopping in the shoulder. After the SUV driver pulled over, Shemare followed suit and provided copies of her dashcam footage to both drivers. Thankfully, nobody was seriously hurt and everyone was able to continue without involving the police. Chabo was driving in California, and his GPS had taken him down a farm road to get around traffic. Watch what happened as he was waiting behind a pickup truck to get back on the paved road.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
A Cybertruck drove around them both, blocking the pickup driver's view as it pulled out onto the road in front of them. That makes this the first time a Cybertruck driver has been crowned a Tesla behaving badly. By the way, that RC on the Cybertruck means this was a release candidate, a prototype owned by Tesla and being driven by a Tesla employee. It does not stand for remote controlled. Mason was making a protected left turn through an intersection. Yes, that is what it's called when you have a green arrow light, when the Hyundai in the lane on his left turned into his lane, colliding with his Chevy Blazer. When Mason spoke with the Hyundai driver, they told him they were trying to get into ShopRite and accused him of going too fast. They were yelling and cussing at him, so he walked away and went back to his Blazer. In the end, the insurance company found the Hyundai driver fully responsible, and they paid $1,000 to fix the damage to Mason's Chevy. Kay was on his way to pick up his brother when he strayed a little too far to the left side of the dirt road. Before he knew it, his Crown Victoria had lost traction and was headed off the road toward a tree. Kay slammed on the brakes, which he admits was a poor decision, but he was able to steer away from the tree and into a field before finally stopping. Thankfully, he was able to get back on the road with minimal damage to his car. Trey was driving his Toyota Camry down a highway in Orlando when he suddenly encountered some wild spools rolling across the lanes. In spite of his efforts, Trey was unable to avoid being hit by the rolling reels. If we zoom way in, we can see that the spools had fallen out of a trailer being pulled by a white pickup truck. Trey stopped and exchanged contact information with the pickup driver, and he told us he'll be contacting his insurance provider to get the damage to his Camry fixed. Z witnessed instant justice when a driver behind them used a turn lane to cut around traffic. An LA County Sheriff's deputy saw the illegal maneuver and sped after the offending driver, party lights active. Z wanted to shout out law enforcement officers who are in the right place at the right time. That instant justice is just so satisfying. Leo was driving in Toronto one evening when he watched an SUV driver run a stop sign and get T-boned by a car, spinning it completely around. Leo told us he saw the occupants of the involved vehicles get out without any serious injuries, so he kept going. He wanted us to remind our viewers to always yield to cross traffic when waiting at a stop sign. Here comes another driver who doesn't know how stop signs work. Curtis's wife was on her way to work in her Toyota Sienna when a driver from the left forced her off the road to avoid a collision. Thankfully, Curtis's wife was successful in avoiding contact with the impatient driver's car and nobody was hurt. Curtis asked us to shout out their kids Leah and Curtis Jr., who love watching Wham Bam videos. Irvin was forced to slam on the brakes when a red light runner drove in front of his Kia Optima, but the result of his sudden stop was that he was rear-ended by a Toyota Corolla. As soon as the collision occurred, the Prius driver sped off. Thankfully, a witness chased it down and got the license plate number before returning to give it to Irvin. Meanwhile, the driver of the Corolla refused to give Irvin her insurance information. And when he called the police, they refused to respond. He got the Corolla driver's contact info and she told him her cousin would fix his Kia. Sadly, that never happened. Irvin hasn't been able to track down the Prius driver and the police refused to help him. He doesn't want to involve a lawyer, so if you know who the owner of this Prius is, he'd love to hear from you. The witness recorded the Prius's plate number as Texas number SMS781, but that seems to be incorrect. If you recognize the vehicle, send us an email and we'll pass the information along. We love to show strange animal appearances in our videos, but this one might take the top spot for the weirdest wildlife so far. This submitter was driving in Idaho when he spotted someone walking their pet camel. Why a camel was being taken for a walk through downtown Boise, we'll never know. Help us out and post your theory in the comments below. If you want to see more strange pets, check out this video featuring our favorite crazy animal moments. Or if you want to see more bad truckers, check out this video featuring multiple semi-wrecks.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.